This is the Afternoon Buzz Rewind Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Thrash. Join me for the Afternoon Buzz weekdays from 2 to 7, only on Real Rock Radio, 106.3 The Buzz.
What's your rewind?
Buckcherry are writing a new record. It'll actually be the first since Keith Nelson and Xavier Muriel left the band, and Josh Todd said he's not interested in making a 13 or 12 song record. It's got to be like a great 10 to 11 songs, and he says right now they have 10 songs that are really great, and it's going to end up being a well-rounded Buckcherry record. But with that being said, he doesn't know if they want to do a traditional-sounding Buckcherry record. But I don't know if they have a choice with Keith Nelson being gone. He was a chief songwriter. I mean, his guitar licks are going to be missed. Hopefully everything works out for him. We'll see how it all shakes out. Yesterday, Ghost announced an upcoming fall tour, and they're not playing the biggest venues yet, but that is the goal. In fact, Tobias Forge said, if we want to have a rock culture where we go to wide open spaces and see larger-than-life spectacle, then bands need to step up. He says it takes more than a stack of Marshalls to get a big rock crowd enthusiastic these days. Unfortunately, I do think that's partly correct, and I love Ghost and theatrical bands. I've seen Ghost so many times, and I've seen many shows over the years, but nothing could compare to those Pantera shows back in the 90s, where it was just a band, and the amps and the energy was undeniable. They'll never be topped in my mind.
106.3 The Buzz presents Nonsense Minute.
Ass body spray for the gay man who likes the smell of ass. Ass body spray to repel women and attract men and dogs. Ass body spray for the aroma that says, hey! Ass body spray. When you use ass, even angels will fart.
Don't count Maiden in with those bands that are looking at hanging it up anytime soon. Nicko McBrain said that they've never even had a meeting or anything to decide whether or not they wanted to carry on. They just carry on. Now, as the drummer of the band, he says he's made it clear to the guys that if he can't drive the band physically, then he'd step down. Not that he's saying he's going to do that, but that is the case. If it ever happens, he would move over and let somebody else come in. But he said, to quote Janet Gers, if they ever became a parody of themselves, that would be the time to hang it up. And I don't think that's coming anytime soon. Looks like we're going to have Iron Maiden for years to come. A 26-year-old guy named Maurice Constanetto broke into a house in Newport Richey, Florida around 6 p.m. last Friday night. He was armed with a rake, he was drunk, and for whatever reason, he was naked. He started swinging the rake at the guy inside until that guy grabbed a hammer and went on offense. Maurice took off running, but the dude chased after him, and he got in 3 good shots with the hammer before the cops came and arrested Maurice for burglary with aggravated battery. You know, that's one of those crimes that would be crazy in most places, but in Florida, that's just another Friday.
106.3 The Buzz presents Nonsense Minute.
I'm a woman now, more or less.
Snip, the new fragrance from Caitlyn Jenner. Snip. For the woman of today, who was a man yesterday. Snip. A fragrance as stunning as you and your daughters and Brody.
Snip.
Snip. It's a fragrance and an aftershave and lube.
Snip. Get snipped. Also try Stash. Caitlyn Jenner's beard concealer. And Tuck. Caitlyn Jenner's duct tape.
Stryker wrote a story over on the website yesterday. A lot of people across the state thought that the In-N-Out locations were closing for good, but no, it was a quality control issue. Apparently, all the locations here in Tejas got a shipment of buns that weren't up to the quality that they usually use, and I got to hand it to them. You know, they lost a lot of money, but they would rather close down than serve a substandard burger. Got to hand it to them. And it looks like they're set to reopen on Wednesday. Jerry Cantrell got with Noisy to run down all of Alice in Chains' studio albums, ranking them from 5th to 1st. I was surprised that he actually had the 2 they've done with William Duvall ahead of the self-titled album. I would probably have flip-flopped that. But other than that, pretty close to where he's at, especially with his top pick, that being Dirt. He told a story about how it all came together, how they had went down to L.A. to record, and they were getting everything set up. They were jacked up and ready to get started. And they were watching the TV when the verdict for the Rodney King incident was announced, and the riots started that day. The first day of their record, L.A. tore itself apart protesting police brutality. So they had to try to get out of the town without getting hurt. He said he thinks they took Tom Araya of Slayer with them, and they went out to Joshua Tree for 4 or 5 days and just kind of tripped out in the desert until things calmed down. And then they moved back into the studio and started recording, and that's how Dirt started. And I'll tell you what, made for one of the best damn records to ever grace these ears.
106.3 The Buzz presents Nonsense Minute.
Ladies, how to keep your man happy so he won't go on Ashley Madison. Step 1. Shave your fur.
I'm cold.
I buy fur. Ladies on Ashley Madison have no fur because they do not exist. Step 2. Wear a sexy panty. Where is remote?
In my panty.
Good job. A big panty is good for holding things he needs, like wheat. Women don't have panty on Ashley Madison because there are none. Step 3. Put out.
I lay on bed.
Yes, you may. The only people who put out on Ashley Madison are hackers. Follow these tips and keep your man happy. Ciao.
Domino's Pizza just announced a new plan to drive around the country and fix potholes. They're framing it as a way to, quote, save pizza by giving a smoother ride to delivery drivers and people driving home with carryout. But in reality, it's a pretty smart marketing campaign that's doing something good at the same time. They've already started fixing potholes in Bartonville here in Texas, also in Milford, Delaware, Athens, Georgia, and Burbank, California. And they're taking nominations on their website for other towns to help at pavingforpizza.com. So seriously, it's come to this. Government on every level in this country is so ineffective that fast food chains are our best hope for infrastructure improvements. I give up. People are still being fooled by the Red Hot Chili Pipers. There was a story that came out a little while back, went viral, about a guy who thought he had bought a couple of tickets to see the Chili Peppers, and turned out, well, it was this bagpipe band. And here's the thing. They've been around since like 2002. They have a pretty large following, but still a lot of people haven't heard of them. And yesterday, a user took to the TIFU subreddit, which of course stands for Today I F'd Up, talking about the mistake that they had made a few years back, in which they even showed up for the gig after buying tickets. Well, a lot of the users were laughing about it, but then others came forward saying that they had been accidentally duped by the group as well. So be careful. There is a band out there called the Red Hot Chili Pipers. If you buy tickets thinking you're going to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers, well, you're not going to get your money back, and hopefully you like bagpipes.
106.3 The Buzz presents Nonsense Minute.
Dad?
Yes, son.
How come the computer's mouse is always so oily?
Not oily, son. Lotiony.
What?
You know, son, maybe it's time we had a little talk.
About what?
Well, about the Lubriderm Fairy.
The what?
You see, just like Santa or the Easter Bunny, every night when we go to sleep, the Lubriderm Fairy comes into our house to put lotion on our mouse and keyboard.
Why?
Well, to keep our hands soft and moisturized.
Wow.
It's also a secret from Mom.
Okay, I won't tell anyone about the Lubriderm Fairy.
Oh, look, it's your bedtime.
I hope he visits tonight.
I have a feeling he will.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Afternoon Buzz Rewind podcast. Join me, Johnny Thrash, for the Afternoon Buzz, weekdays from 2 to 7 on Real Rock Radio, 106.3 The Buzz.